Everyone, this is delicious Don Juan the Texas treat, and you are listening to the Countdown City WrestleCast.
What is up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast, live from San Antonio, where the weather's about as bipolar as, well, the weather here in Texas, pretty much. I'm your host, JC. Joining me this week is that guy, Tommy.
Hey, I have a heavy jacket that worked Monday and Tuesday. It absolutely failed me today.
And we got Big Mike.
What's up, guys? Big Mike here, 2024. Let's get going. Let's get going.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We're going to talk a bit about TNA Hard to Kill, which took place this past weekend. Got a bit of wrestling news as well. Going to preview Hybrid Experience and talk about RCW Rumble Royale. But first, we got a special guest joining us. Please welcome Scott Kinney, representing Retromania.
Yay! Woohoo!
Yay!
Yes. Thank you, Scott, for joining us. If you haven't heard by now, because the graphic has been everywhere, you got a big event going on this weekend. And
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to give us a little preview about what you got coming to New Braunfels.
Yeah, it's in New Braunfels, Texas. It's this Saturday and Sunday at the New Braunfels Convention Center. It's Retromania, and it's called the Retromania Collectible Show. So it's toys, comics, video games, trading cards, posters, art. It's packed full of stuff, and vintage and modern. So, and then we bring in guests, and I try to bring in guests that are related to the hobby of collecting toys and action figures and stuff like that, comic books. So we have, Sergeant Slaughter as our headliner guest, and Sergeant Slaughter, of course, an icon in so many worlds, wrestling and G.I. Joe, the cartoon series, the comic book, everything. And then Larry Hama, who is kind of the godfather of G.I. Joe, wrote all the comics for Marvel, wrote the famous file cards on the back, even wrote Slaughter's file card, and some Power Rangers. So it's going to be a fun show.
Yeah, I know Tommy's pretty psyched. You mentioned Sergeant Slaughter. So I want to know how you were crazy enough to get Tommy to be moderating the panel with Sergeant Slaughter at your WrestleMania event here.
He's brave enough to want to take on the Sarge, I guess. I don't know how you moderate the Sarge, but
with fear and trembling, that's how I'm going to moderate the Sarge.
He may moderate you. I don't know.
Hey, you know what? Cool.
Were you more nervous about being the moderator for MJF, or are you more nervous now about for Sergeant Slaughter?
No, I was the most nervous about Jade Cargill. No, I'm kidding. I honestly, this one's a bit more intimidating because MJF and Jade are legends in the making. Sarge is a bona fide legend, man. It's like to me, and I was actually one of the questions I was going to ask him. He's one of the iconic guys, man. I mean, I'm sure everyone can name Hulk Hogan, but very, very short below down that list of Sergeant Slaughter. You might have Macho Man, Warrior, but Sarge is in that list of people that everyone can name.
He's a big crossover again.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I knew him first, as the G.I. Joe action figure.
For sure.
Yeah. I think that's how
a lot of people remember that crossover. I feel like, God, I'm so old. G.I. Joe was so long ago, right?
It was.
That's the thing. We all remember it, but
I think I had my Storm Shadow down in the garage somewhere, packed away for one of my kids ready for G.I. Joe. So,
all of mine disappeared over the years. Disappeared or were broken from overuse. That may or may not have been my fault.
Yeah.
I will tell you this, because I collected G.I. Joe, I collected He-Man, a bunch of different ones. They all had wrestling matches at some point. No matter what toys I did collect, I would eventually use them to have wrestling matches, even when I didn't collect or didn't have wrestling figures the old ones that didn't pose.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe,
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles, they all wound up having wrestling matches at some point, so it's always crossed over for me.
My joke is I did Infinity War before Marvel did, because all of my toys were in the Transformers, Thundercats, Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe were all like a gigantic battle against Decepticons, Doctor Doom.
But-
Who else did I have? Thanos.
Yeah.
Man, if I could have thought of Portals, that's easy.
If I could have thought of Portals, I had the toys for it. It actually
Right?
depresses me now. I didn't think of that. It's like, that's a great idea.
Scott, this is about how our show goes. Sometimes we
Yeah,
just
more
get
or
off
less,
the rails.
yeah.
But how Retromania is something that's popped up on a radar, obviously because of Sergeant Slaughter. How many years going has this event happened, or is this?
I think my first one was in 2020. This is the fourth Retromania in New Braunfels.
Nice. So this year's like focusing mostly on G.I. Joe. What have you done in the past?
My first guest, I think I mentioned this on another show, but it was just some local YouTuber, just some guys I knew. You know what I mean? I just threw the show together. I'm a collector, so I like collector shows. I go to Comic-Cons and stuff, but I love going to like toy shows and more like where there's merchandise to buy and look at and stuff and dig through.
For sure.
That's my jam, and that's what I wanted to do with this show. So I didn't really focus on guests. And then the next year, the first show was very successful. It was COVID, was the mask mandate had just like dropped, and it people were wanting to get out, and the show was just like packed. And then the next year, I wasn't planning on having guests, and people started calling me and saying, "Hey, can we come to the show?" I was like, "Sure." So that's kind of how it started. Yeah, I didn't intend to go down that path. You know, it's very common. Comic-Cons have these guests, you know, and people kind of expect them, but I don't like to lose focus on my collectible side of it. And that's why I've tried to bring in guests that, you know, like have appeal. I like to get action figures signed. And so to me, you know, Sergeant Slaughter, you know, I want to get a Sergeant Slaughter figure signed. That's my jam. So I get guests that have toys and are related to toys and things like that.
So you just like look at your collections, like, you know what, I'm going to do that this year. So I get this kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and you know, Power Rangers is very toyetic, and there's a big fan base in San Antonio, South Texas, for Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
I asked for Power Rangers for the guest. I mean, people are, when I announce, you know, the guests are like, hey, yeah, but what Power Rangers are coming? So there's a huge contingent there. So I have to please them, and then I wanted to play in this wrestling world. That's my first wrestling guest. I've never had one at a show.
How familiar are you with wrestling? Was it something you watched a lot as a kid, or?
Yeah, in the 80s, I was real into it. I went to matches. I've seen some big. I saw Andre the Giant in a match. I saw Ultimate Warrior. I mean, I used to go to them, and then in the 90s, I started doing Comic-Cons, and I told them I called Ultimate Warrior on the phone to try and get him as a guest, and because I don't know if you guys, this is kind of way back, you know, the 90s, but Ultimate Warrior had a comic book.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I think it was just called Warrior.
I think it was.
Yeah.
And in the back of the comic book, there was literally like, "Hey, do you reach out to the Warrior organization, blah blah blah, you know, for get these comics in your store, etc." So I called the number, and the guy that answered the phone sounded like, what's Ultimate Warrior's real name? I don't even know his real name.
Hellwig, right? Yeah.
Hellwig, yeah.
So this guy answers phone that sounds just like Ultimate Warrior, and he says, "Oh, hang on a second, I'll see if he's available." And then the guy that gets on the phone is the same voice.
I love that.
But he was very cool to talk to.
Yeah.
I talked to him for quite a while. He's very, you know, hyping himself. "Oh, you need to get me out there to your show. It's going to be the big, you know, you won't be able to contain it," all this kind of stuff. And I think ultimately I didn't end up having him as a guest because he wanted just a ton of money. I can't remember what he laid on me, but it was just like, oh, okay.
That was going to be my next question, is like, how much did he want? Because he's had that reputation. Although I could see him saying, yeah, this is Hellwig, let me get Warrior, because he did change his name officially to Warrior.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So maybe he's like, let me go get Warrior for you, and then bring him in.
Also, I just want to see him like an actor, like put the phone off.
Yeah.
Right.
Shaking something in front of him.
Oh, amazing stuff. So,
but you know,
yeah,
into wrestling today it's like it's a fandom that I'm just learning. You know what I mean? Like the newer guys, you know, the last guys I really followed, you know, were like The Rock and that generation, kind of the early 2000s.
You know, it's funny. People always say The Rock and Stone Cold, but at random times, people are like The Rock's coming back. Like he's possibly going to be at WrestleMania this year. There's already kind of promos on that, so it's like, hey, this guy never left. Well, I was like, well, he did. No, he's coming back. So you're just.
So he's like, he never left. Yes, but also no.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Mike.
Real quick, I was just going to ask, like, did you ever collect wrestling figures when you were younger, when you were watching it, like in the 80s or at any time?
What's weird is that's a toy that I never really saw him, but I'm a little older.
Yeah.
So that the wrestling toys really took off in the early 80s, like the JN thumb wrestler guys, and the rubber ones and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was, by that age, I was kind of into like, you know, BMX and skateboard.
Gotcha.
Stuff like that. So the wrestling toys really took off when I was too old.
I got
it was more like Star Wars. That was my childhood.
Yeah, this guy here, the wrestling buddies. Those who didn't have a wrestling buddy as a kid, right?
Yeah.
You know, yeah. A question we got here: who is going to scream the loudest, Sarge or Tommy, when we do the panel?
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't want to out scream Sarge because that'll sound like I'm challenging him, and I will not. So I'm going to try to keep it as docile as I can. So yeah. Mm-mm. Nope.
Well, Scott, this is running conventions like this. I know it's a lot of work. Does it get easier, or do you feel like it just gets bigger? No. Is it what you expect?
It gets harder. I think I was happier when I was just doing, just throw the show together with some buddies, and it's about, you know, collecting. But when it gets bigger, then you have expectations to meet. It's really a game, you know. It's like meeting last year's expectations becomes a thing.
Yeah.
It's tough
for sure. Now, I don't know how big a house you have, but how many rooms in your house are dedicated strictly to your collectibles? Because I imagine you have a lot. This is
I had to downsize. I had a whole basement at one point.
Wow.
And it was like a museum. I'd just taken over the basement, and that's how many toys I have now. I've had to consolidate down to one room, and I have a garage full of totes. Just totes of just toys. So I don't know, you know, it's like, how am I, you know, I can't even display all these now because I built it up. I built my collection up to kind of have everything out.
Yeah.
You know, and then I started filling up all the empty shelves and empty, you know, and then when I downsized to a different house, I was like, oh boy. So yeah.
What are some of your favorite items? Not necessarily like the ones that are the most expensive, but what are some of your personal favorites from your collection?
Because I've been collecting toys so long, now I do like odd things, strange bootlegs, you know, stuff like. And of course, down in San Antonio, you see lots of weird bootlegs.
Oh,
from the
so
border.
many.
Yeah. So
San Antonio, get closer to the border. You see what you find there. Yeah.
I like it. I like the creativity of it's almost like street art.
Yeah.
You know, that stuff. And I dig that. So I'm really into, you know, bootlegs and knockoffs. I love, you know, even though I didn't grow up with it, He-Man, Transformers. I've just been surrounded by those properties my whole life. You know, even as an adult, I started, you know, I remember in high school, I would be late to class because I wanted to finish the episode of He-Man because it ended when class started. So it was always a challenge, you know, to get to school in that 5, you know, minutes in the commercials or whatever between. So, yeah, I mean, I'm into this stuff. I live and breathe it.
That's
I
awesome.
love it.
Legacy and totes too. Legacy, your collection's getting pretty nice there too. We've seen.
Yes.
Yeah, my dad has a bit of a collection as well, and he's running out of space. It's all in his office, and my mother's already said you're not taking it out of the office. So I don't know what he's gonna do now.
Well, my collection, you can kind of see it right behind me. There's Funko Pops there. There's video games. I collect a lot of retro video games. I'm a big gamer guy. In my closet right behind me, there's like 2 shoeboxes full of Super Nintendo games. But you're a big collector, Scott. What? I guess you can give me your top 5 items you have in your collection, like your most prized ones.
Let's see. I have a film prop
Ooh.
that was gifted to me from Return of the Jedi
Ooh,
from one of the
yeah.
producers. That's like that's one of my top items. I never expected to own film prop. They're very expensive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Sure.
And I have the big Alien from 1979 that came out. The 18-inch Alien in a box was one I chased down, and I got it here in New Braunfels at my show.
Oh, nice.
That's one of the benefits of putting on shows. People will bring stuff to sell.
Yeah.
I'll bring stuff in, and I'll buy. I'll like try and grab people and buy it. So I bought the Alien here. I collect a toy line called Shogun Warriors. Came out in the late 70s. It's imported from Japan. It's kind of the precursor Super Robots 2 Transformers.
Okay.
I remember Shogun Warriors. Yeah.
Yeah, they're called Super Robots. They're always real big, like Godzilla. And so there's one from that line that's like mega rare. I have one in the box. It's Grendizer. No one will know what that is. Let's see. I have a Luke Skywalker action figure that is an early version where the saber tip extended out to like twice the length. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the little Star Wars original sabers, but they have a little tip that most kids broke the tip off or bit it off, chewed on it. It didn't make any sense. The tip, I guess, was just a pull rod for the saber. Well, the early version of the saber doubled the length by having a tube inside of a tube, and you could pull it out, and the saber got and I guess it was a choking hazard or something. A little tube you could pull out and eat it or something. So I have an early version of that. That's a really tough one to find. And let's see, Hot Wheels. I have I have a complete line of the Marvel Hot Wheels that came out in the 1970s. Those are kind of tough if you're a 70s collector and like superhero stuff, because now you see superhero stuff everywhere, everywhere. But back in the 70s, as a kid, finding Spider-Man on even a Spider-Man logo on something was like a big deal. Like, oh God, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah. Legacy Nerd confirms that you get first dibs whenever anybody you get the early access before anybody gets on the floor.
The advantage of putting on the show, right?
Oh yeah. I do a little shopping.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like, this show's for everybody else. Hey, what's that guy selling?
at 11 o'clock, but at 10 o'clock, I'm going through.
There's always a show before the show because the dealers are all there.
Of course.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're going around looking at everyone's collection, and
they're looking at each other's stuff and they're trading and buying with each other, and so it's weird how things reset by the time the show opens. That stuff might still be for sale, but it's in someone else's booth.
It's like getting a table at Trader's Village. Like, you're there to sell your stuff, and you end up going to buy from other people that are selling their stuff.
There's a lot of buying and selling. Like, it is a perk of being a dealer, and I encourage people. I'm like, so if you have a little bit to sell at a show, like buy a little table and sell your stuff, because you'll buy stuff. It's a great place to buy stuff. People just bring you things. Hey, I had this in my garage. I've bought massive collections that way.
Nice.
Very cool. So, Sergeant Slaughter, how did this come about? Was this something that he reached out, wanted to be a part of this? Was this something like a phone call you made, or?
I actually got Larry first as a guest, and I wanted a G.I. Joe compliment guest. And so I had reached out to some agents and some friends and said, hey, who do you want to see in G.I. Joe world? And a lot of people said Sergeant Slaughter, a lot of people. And so I was like, okay. I followed up and contacted his agent, and fortunately he had the date available because it was pretty late notice when I contacted him. So it was just luck. A lot of times you need to get way more out in advance, 6 months or so.
Right.
Yeah.
He fortunately was available and said, yeah, we'd love to do it. So it all came together.
That's awesome.
So what is the schedule? I'm trying to remember if the panel is Saturday or Sunday, because this is a 2-day event in New Braunfels, right? So
Sarge's panel is Sunday at 11 a.m.
Okay.
That's his. He wanted to do it at that time.
Very cool. And it's
what's his orders?
Is he going to be available also for like photo ops and autographs and all that?
He'll be there all day Saturday from 10 to 5. Is doing autographs, selfies, all that good stuff.
Nice.
Both.
All right. If you're watching, by the way, give us suggestions for questions Tommy should ask the Sarge.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so we can get those in here.
Let's keep it nice though. We don't want to.
If I get put in the Cobra Clutch, like I'm making all of you pay for the. I'm making all of you pay
First
for it.
of all,
Like,
that has to close the panel. Like you really.
No,
have to
it
sell
doesn't.
It.
No,
He's got to leave you laying on the stage as he walks off. That has to happen.
No, it
Yes,
doesn't.
it does. It has to.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I
So,
don't
Sarge,
even
if you're watching this, make sure you put in the Cobra Clutch before the panel's over.
Do you have a Cobra shirt?
Ooh.
Actually,
Because what you need to do then is wear the Cobra shirt under the the geek shirt, and then at the end you can open it up so we can put you in the Cobra Clutch.
You're just trying to get me further beat up. He's gonna after he makes me go to sleep in the clutch, he's gonna stomp on me a few times.
Well, no, that's what prompts him to put you in the clutch. Is you're like, ha ha ha, I'm actually Cobra, and then then we can play the music as he walks off, and you're laying on the ground.
Tommy, your first question asks, how many times did you call Iron Sheik daddy?
Legacy? I am not at all going to ask that. Let's just make it clear right now. That question
so Tommy, you need to take some of these questions and make them appropriate. So you can just be like, tell us about what it was like working with the Iron Sheik.
I can do that.
Right.
I'm not asking what.
Well, look, you can't trust some of the people in our chat because they're going to try and get you hurt no matter what you do. So
yeah. So.
Oh, gee, thanks, Mike. I didn't know that from the years we've been doing this show.
I'm sure since you've announced Sergeant Slaughter Scott, you're going to have some wrestling collectible vendors. I know there's I don't know if you visited Wrestling Shop Collectibles in Rolling Oaks Mall. They have a pretty impressive store there set up. I mean, I've been there a couple times. They've got a ring there, wall to wall full of wrestling collectibles. It's amazing. So
there'll be a lot of wrestling toys at this show for sure. People, dealers, they read the tea leaves. They see who the guests are. They try to bring all the stuff they can related to that guest. And last year I brought I had a bunch of Power Ranger stuff, and I just sold, I think, everything. I mean,
I believe
people were going nuts over the Power Ranger. Power Rangers guests there, so many fans. So I would expect the wrestling guys that have wrestling toys and things like that are going to do pretty good, or memorabilia belts and things.
Yeah,
I think especially with Sergeant Slaughter, like I said, he's in that upper echelon of like guys from that era when the golden age, as some people call it. And again, you'll have the same G.I. Joe fans. So whatever they sell of him, or they can get him to sign, it's gonna be a great event, I think.
I like Sarge's career. I went back and was looking at all the early stuff, like way back into the the 70s, the early wrestling era, and he was all part of that. Came up through the rise of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
He was kind of one of those guys that really transitioned from the territories into when Vince took over, right? I mean, he was in that big part of the whole Cold War feud that they had going on and playing both sides of that and everything. But the G.I. Joe thing is like, people forget. Yeah, he was a part of that too. And it was like a crossover that made sense. Mm-hmm. All of us watched G.I. Joe as a kid, right? I mean, the four guys here, we were kids once.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great cartoon series too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still watchable as an adult.
It is. I don't know. I watched the movie recently, and I was like, "This is still a really good movie."
Yeah.
That and the Transformers movie are just really
good. Transformers movie is amazing.
Yeah.
What was y'all's favorite PSA? Do y'all remember those PSAs?
Yeah, but I can't narrow down one.
I do remember, for some reason, one of the one that always sticks up out in my mind was about not playing around down to telephone wires or something.
Yeah.
Like, do y'all remember this one?
I remember that one. Yeah, I
there
remember.
was one, and it was like a telephone wire, and like I guess it makes sense to to tell a kid that, but as you get older and as an adult, you're just like, why would you even try to? But I guess you got to tell kids that's the point. So.
Well, they in the 80s, the laws were changed so that the toy manufacturers could essentially advertise to kids.
Yeah.
And they used cartoons to do that. So He-Man and G.I. Joe were very successful early examples of that.
Yeah.
So they had to insert that kind of stuff in it to make it seem like, oh no, this is all very wholesome for kids, but really it's just a 30-minute commercial for the toys, because all the new vehicles, all the new figures were always incorporated into the storylines to sell toys.
It was an interesting thing to add too, because some of those G.I. Joe storylines got pretty dark as you watch as you get older. So for them to like switch straight over to PSAs after that. But I think what made them more memorable as we got older was all the parodies that came out years later, where people would voice over everything. I don't know if you guys have seen
Dr. Smooth. Do you remember on YouTube? He was the worst, but the best. So, oh my God.
So which one of those was y'all's favorite PSA? As I've got a couple of mine. The one that always sticks out, whenever I watch them, is the one where this guy shows up. Body massage. It's just the most random thing where he shows up. But are you familiar with these, Scott? I don't know if you've seen them. Yeah. So but that was just the weirdest thing. But even the funniest one is like some guy, you just see like the cliff gives way, he falls, and he's just yelling, shit, there's G.I. Joe. That's it. There's no message behind it. It's just, that. But
it wasn't a PSA, but it was when Dr. Smooth was still on YouTube, he took the song Get Money from Junior Mafia with Notorious B.I.G. and Little Kim. And I think it was Baroness for sure. And I think it was it Falcon who played Biggie's part? I don't know. But basically, Baroness was Lil' Kim, and somebody else was the story. No, it was Destro. He was the Notorious B.I.G. And like he basically he synced it to where whenever they were talking, they were rapping the lyrics. And I remember thinking, this was like early YouTube. So I remember thinking, who had this much time to do this? This had to have taken 5 hours easy. So
there's always someone who will do it, man.
Dude, and now there's Ace Bay who does that all by himself now. So
you can ask Slaughter how it was finding the Undertaker.
Was he someone that found Mark Calloway back in the day?
I think he might have been.
Sean might know. Like Sean has wrestling knowledge.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, because I'm sure Slaughter in his days came through Texas. Before in those territory days, I'm sure he came through here a bunch as well.
I'm
a lot of those guys did. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Hang on, I'm trying to pull up the site here for you so I can share this. But what other guests do you have on tap for WrestleMania this weekend, Scott?
Let's see. We have the 3 Yellow Rangers from different series. We have Tracy Lynn Cruz, who was the Yellow Ranger from Power Rangers Turbo, Power Rangers in Space. We have Deborah Phillips, who was the Yellow Power Ranger in Time Force. And then we have Serena Vincent, who is the Yellow Ranger in Lost Galaxy.
All 3 are my favorites.
Wow.
All 3.
Yeah, and I kind of picked guess on the popularity of the seasons. And so In Space is one of the most popular seasons, of course, but Serena's one of the popular Rangers, and I guess Deborah Phillips doesn't do a ton of con appearances, so a lot of the local fans are excited that she's coming because she doesn't do a ton of shows.
Yeah, that actually, I had actually wanted to start asking if she was doing them anymore, because she's always been one of my favorites, and I don't remember her ever being able to come to Texas. So when this was announced, I was like, I've got to go to this. So basically, what I'm saying is, even if you wouldn't have me on as a panel moderator, I would have been there regardless. You would have seen me at some point this weekend. So.
And I don't want to forget Jenna Frank will be there Saturday only. The daughter of Jason David Frank, and is also in his upcoming movie, his last project, The White Dragon, Legend of the White Dragon. It's supposed to come out this year. That's
hopefully it provided no more delays, obviously. So
and I'm glad that they decided to finish that, because after shortly after his passing, they were saying it's done, but the fans wanted it, so I'm glad that's coming out.
Yeah, because I think he had most of his stuff filmed. I think they had to use kind of a double for the rest of it.
What you said, I was gonna say. I think that's what I heard too.
And
go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say real quick, because we have General Kenobi's bunker in the comments. Tommy doing a panel, but also of course our friend Legacy of Nerd. Daniel will be doing some panels up there as well.
We'll be doing one Saturday at 2 p.m. with Jenna,
Right.
Frank and Serena Vincent, and then he's doing one Sunday at 2 p.m. with the Yellow Power Rangers.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah,
That's right up his alley.
So the geeks will be very involved with this, which will be really cool.
Yeah. I see the video games here. Do you usually get a lot of video game vendors?
Yeah, we'll have quite a few.
Okay.
Ooh.
Tommy, I got a mission for you. 'Cause there's one Super Nintendo game I cannot find anywhere, and I want it, one, so I can play it because my Super Nintendo still works, and two, just to have the Death and Return of Superman. I hear it's like one of the best Superman games. It is so hard to find on Super Nintendo, so if you find it, I'll cash app you, whatever, just let me know because I really need that. So.
And you want to know something funny?
What?
Of all the Super Nintendo games I have never played, I've played that one. I'm not kidding. Because so here's the thing. Me and my cousins, we didn't do it on purpose, but we kind of had this thing of like if one of us had one system, the other one would have the other. So I had a Sega, and my cousins had a Super Nintendo. So like whenever we were at whatever's house during the holidays, someone would bring their system, we'd do that. And I didn't have Super Nintendo, so I didn't really actually play it a lot. I actually didn't even play Super Nintendo games until you get like what's it
emulators.
There you go, emulators and everything. But the one game that I did play because my cousin had it was the Death and Return of Superman. That's hilarious.
JC may be asking next, do you know if your cousin still has it?
I mean, if
honestly,
he still has it.
I mean,
I mean, before this weekend, maybe give him a call. Just
honestly, it would be at his mom's house, and I could actually ask him.
Please.
What's
looking at I go to.
What's the harm in asking?
Yeah, it's not impossible to ask. Yeah.
I could be at a flea market and I see some guys some video games. I'm gonna go look and browse every Super Nintendo game looking for it. I'll check every. It's so difficult to find. It's one of the hardest games to find. I've never got to play it. I refuse to even play it on an emulator because I want to play it off a cartridge. Like that's respect, man. That's dedication.
Well, you know what's funny is like I want to get one of the Retron 5s because there is one game that I played on Sega, and this one game, and I can't explain why I love it so much because it's the most basic side-scroller shooter ever. It's called Ranger X, and I'm not hyping it up like it's like the greatest game. It's not. It's just one of my all-time favorites. And if there's one reason I'm sad I don't have a Sega anymore, it's because I couldn't play that. So if I see Ranger X, I'm buying it this weekend. So.
Nice.
All right, so Retromania Collectible Show Saturday and Sunday, January 20th to 21st at the New Braunfels, Texas Convention Center. Discount tickets are still available, right?
Online and at the door, so you can buy them there at the show.
Oh, here's a big one, everybody. Parking is free because you never see that in San Antonio. How about that?
Never in San Antonio.
And also look at that, kids 10 and under free with the paid adult. Not bad.
Yeah, we get a lot of families. This is a great community. New Braunfels is a great community. It's just we get a lot of families that come in just local that wanted something to do on a Saturday. And mixed with hardcore fans, so it's an interesting show.
I was gonna say the few times I've been up there for any convention because I've been to Hill County a couple of times too, and I think I've been to one Retromania up there before. It always does seem like there's like a family gathering no matter what. Sometimes it's a family of cosplayers. It's like the mom and dad and all the kids, and I love it. It's just cool. It's like, oh man, the whole family is just a group of nerds and they're all just hanging out. That's awesome. So it's always a cool atmosphere whenever one of these cons happen out there because it just feels like it's just for everybody. It's not just for the hardcore fans. It's just for everyone to come and have a good time.
And then if you get the VIP, you get to go in an hour before everybody else, right? Get to early buying. Kind of get
and that's just for the guys that just want to get there and get the stuff before anyone else.
I should note this is first dibs after Scott gets his look and everything. So as we went over there. Yes.
Technically second dibs. But...
Yes. Yeah. So.
Well, one of the things that frustrates me is that somehow I miss things. Like my collection is to the point where I have so much stuff that the things that I really want left are pretty hard to get.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of my shows I put on, I saw somebody walking out the door with a really rare I needed, and it just blew my mind. I was like, where did you but it happens. I mean, there's so much stuff. That's what's nice about the show is it's not a corporate show. So it's less like a Comic-Con. There won't be like 10 booths full of tumblers or whatever. There'll be mom and pop type dealers that have things in totes and stuff, and those are the ones you want to dig through those.
Oh, for sure.
You know, that's what I want at a toy show, you know, is totes and digging and
It looks like a lot of fun, and if for anything else, it's only till 5 o'clock both days, right? 10 to 5 Joe Mission. Is the early buying? It says Saturday here. Do you still do the early buying on Sunday, or is it just 10 o'clock?
It's just Saturday only.
Saturday?
It's really just for the guys that are like trying to get the cherries, you
Good
know,
stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Early bird.
Yeah. And if you attend, everybody stop on Buc-ee's on the way back, because who needs an excuse? Everybody needs an excuse to go to Buc-ee's, right? You know.
Oh yeah, we got Buc-ee's here.
So
always good to stop at Buc-ee's, man.
And we'll have food on site. We have a concessions, UBP Burgers of New Braunfels. So we had their food it's excellent. They got chili and burgers and fries and all that stuff. So people can come and hang out because we have the panels that you can go to and you can shop, and we'll have cosplayers and things. So there'll be things to do there.
Because we might get this question, is alcohol going to be served at all, or is it just soda?
No, we don't have any. No.
Okay. Have to ask, you know. So yeah. So, all right, Scott, this is going to be awesome. Please, please really suggest to Sergeant Slaughter that he leaves Tommy laying on the stage before
this is going to be one of the longest panels of my life.
I see that I'm going to have to talk to him. Yeah. We're going to have to set something up. I'm sorry, Tommy.
It's okay.
You know.
Tommy, let's just ask this: if he asked you to drop and give him 20,
I'm afraid he's going to ask me that. Like I can't even lie to you. That's my biggest fear doing this, is he's going to say that, and I can give him maybe 20, and that's it.
Look,
what are you gonna say?
At our age, Tommy, you have to stretch first. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Make sure you stretch before that panel starts.
I should have been doing that all week. Now that I think about it, it's a really good point. That's a really good point.
If you take fan Q&A, you're probably be doing push-ups. Yeah.
And I was going to say, Tommy, I've seen this in a movie. Keep a $20 bill in your pocket. See if we'll take that. Just, it's worth a shot.
Everybody's got a price.
Yeah, that's the
Everybody.
Legacy, I agree. It has to happen. So, yes.
I don't even know why I do this show.
So, Scott, just so you know, in the wrestling world, especially when we go to shows, Tommy has made his life for like 15 years now of yelling and getting into it with the wrestlers. So this is not coming out of nowhere when we say, the wrestler needs to beat him up. He has gotten, under wrestler skin for years. It's kind of what he does. And he's good at it, but,
I'll put it this way. If you ever book a guy named Lance Hoyt, I literally can't come to the show because...
you're moderating that panel.
No, because he will actually beat me up, and I don't.
Yeah, Tommy, if we ever have that panel, it's gonna have to be like me and Legacy and JC, like dragging you up to the stage to go.
Yeah, seriously, and like sitting me down with the microphone. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome to the panel.
Lance loves you.
I don't.
Legacy's gonna find a pull-up bar.
I'm worse at pull-ups than I am at push-ups. Let me tell you, I am so much worse at those. Oh my god.
Wow. Scott, appreciate it. Where can people find out more information about this event?
HeritageEventCompany.com, Retromania event on Instagram.
Okay.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Oh, and I will say, for the wrestling fans out there, this will be under the table, but I have some pretty rare 2000s era WWF with the scratchy logo, the old scratchy band logo. Some promo stuff that I brought in case someone's looking for.
Oh.
Yeah, it's promo stuff. It's not stuff that was sold at stores.
Yeah.
I got it from a guy that worked at a pay-per-view company. So some interesting
posters. Wow.
T-shirts, posters. Yeah.
Tommy, you might have a list of things you need to go look at. I might have a list of things.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to text you my shopping list after
this.
Right? Yeah, let me know.
I'll let you look.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's good. This is going to be a great event. I'm very much looking forward to it. Like I said, even before the announcement of Sergeant Slaughter, just usually, like I said, the events up there are pretty fun. And I heard about this, the more I heard, I was like, this is gonna be a fun event to go to.
Yeah. Scott, appreciate you joining us. Good luck this weekend. As we tell everyone that's running a big event like this, I mean, I hope it goes well. I hope you don't miss anything major that you're looking to buy when you get that early access before everybody else too. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to bed and getting up early in the morning. It'll be a
Yeah.
long day tomorrow, but
Yeah.
tomorrow, the dealers come in.
It
So
is coming tomorrow. Yeah.
I'll post photos for folks out there. I'll post photos on Facebook of the dealer setup, like so they
Nice.
can see what's on the floor and stuff.
So they can plan their plan
Yeah,
of
and-
attack,
yeah.
basically. Yeah. So yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you, Scott. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good con, and please.
Yeah.
Corporate
Good luck.
clubs,
Hope it all goes
yes.
well.
Yeah. So.
See you this weekend.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
See you. Take care. All right, guys. Wow.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, I really am going to be in the corporate clutch for the week's over, aren't I?
I mean, at least it's not the Kahara Hajamaja that Taz always talks about. So I still don't know how to say it right.
The Kata Hajime.
Look, the whole joke is that no one else can say it but him. So
Well, again, this is from me. The first one of the first few wrestling DVDs I ever had was an original ECW DVD. That's the only reason I know how to pronounce that at all. It's the only reason.
that's fair.
So, yeah. So,
So,
man,
any interesting wrestling news to get us started?
Well, let's get that getting going here. Yeah.
couple things.
Reported. Well, let's see here. Maddie Rinkowski has debuted in NXT
As
under the name of Ren Sinclair.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I do got to say this was really cool, right? Because
Yeah.
we don't normally. No, I mean, like obviously it was really cool, but like I don't usually watch NXT. Obviously, the only reason I ever know what's going on with NXT is because of the Cultaholic Wrestling podcast. So I happened to notice Brandon on Facebook was like, "Hey, that's Maddie Rinkowski in the Battle Royal." I was like, "What?" So I turned it on, and it took me a while to like catch her because they were kind of doing a lot of long shots.
Yeah.
But I watched most of it, and all of a sudden, she's still in there. Her and Roxanne did go at it a little bit. That was kind of cool.
That is.
They did have a spot against the ropes for a little bit, and then she was the fifth. Like if apparently what I didn't realize is in this battle royal when it came down to the final four, the last four then had a fatal four-way where it went from elimination to pin. And that's how Roxanne eventually won. But that means that Ren was one person away from being there. And she eliminated the last legend, so which that clip was going all around Facebook, Twitter and social media. So yeah, it was really cool. And apparently also at the beginning, the announcers made it sound like she was the one that injured Cora Jade because unfortunately, in real life, Cora tore her ACL at a local house show, and that is actually kind of why Ren got thrown in there. But apparently, they're playing it like she attacked her, which is interesting.
I mean, that's a hell of a way to make your debut with the company, too.
Yeah.
For sure. I
mean, that's what I said. Like, that's a big heel thing. They let her stay really like.
Yeah.
That's just impressive all the way around.
So my question is, does she get the Roxy treatment of like they kind of strap a rocket to her back in like a year or two? Do you think that happens?
I hope so. I think, yeah, I hope so. I mean,
very good chance, right? So
the thing with NXT is like they have a mixture of people that have wrestling, backgrounds like Roxanne, like Blair Davenport. Lyra Vicaria came out of NXT UK. And then they have a lot of those that, as far as I know, were like athletes and other things that, they're obviously trying to turn into wrestlers at the PC.
Right.
Maddie's got that background. Clearly she's shown she can wrestle. She knows how to, be in the ring and do what she needs to do. We know she's got the talent. I mean, I know there's a lot of other people that WWE sees as this or that down there, but I mean, I think she can be a solid one that can climb up there really quick. We know she can.
Yep.
Look at her mediocre. I mean, she's already there. She's been wrestling for about 5 years now, already in WWE. That's not, it's not unheard of, but it's definitely doesn't happen often. So
Yep.
And I do have to say, and obviously it always takes a little bit of getting used to when they change names, but going from Mad D Renkowski
yeah,
to Ren Sinclair, I feel like it doesn't flow yet. Like I gotta get used to
Give
it.
it time.
I thought the same thing, but yeah, I think here's what I think whenever this happens to us, because especially I think it's like less when it's like an indie person who changes names to when it's an indie person we have met.
Yeah, that's true.
Repeatedly.
Right.
I mean, to peel back the curtain a bit, we have met some of her family. We've met her dad.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't help.
Wait, so question, Tommy. If by chance he's at RCW this weekend, do I have to call him Papa Sinclair now, or can I still call him Papa Renkowski?
I think for the sake of the camera, we have to call him Papa Sinclair. But when the cameras are off and the show's over, then he's Papa Renkowski.
Okay, that's fair.
So
Yeah.
we have to give the kayfabe.
I will respect that. That's
you have
fair.
to give the kayfabe.
Okay.
And an interesting kind of segue to what's our next big topic. But Rache Chanel, also Bougie Reality, Maddie's former tag team partner, was seen in a picture at the New Japan Dojo recently, along with Boss Baines and others. But so that's
pretty cool.
I mean, I was worried she would just kind of get lost in the shuffle because I love Rache. Everyone knows that, and I didn't know what was going to happen with her. But New Japan Dojo, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, speaking of New Japan, yes,
Yeah.
Tommy alluded to it. Here we go. A day most people never thought coming, but New Japan has made it official. As of January 31st, 2024, Okada will be leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling when his contract expires. They did make a note that he has a few dates.
AEW. Sorry.
Yeah, he's got a few dates part of the New Beginning series.
Yeah.
February 11th in Osaka, 23rd and 24th in Sapporo. But yeah, a change will be made. I guess he's gonna finish those dates, and then who knows where he's going. Obviously, he's already worked with TNA.
I was gonna say
right now.
TNA.
Yes, yeah.
I don't care. Not WWE. Not WWE.
Did you see the story pop up real quick? Apparently from the Snake Eyes tapings, because I kept seeing this news story. Okada reveals he doesn't hate TNA.
Yes, I saw someone.
And I get it, but I was like, well, yeah, obviously he showed up to do shows, but I think it's fun.
But no, he got on the mic and he says it in his broken English way. He's like, some people say I hate TNA. He said I love TNA, and everyone's like, yeah. So the funny part is Shelly and Saban are in the ring with him. They're like, see, he loves.
His statement from Okada: I have nothing but gratitude for having been a part of New Japan Pro Wrestling since 2007, and for NJPW bringing me from a 19-year-old kid off the plane in Mexico to the ringmaker I am today. Thank you to the best companies in New Japan and to the best opponents I've been able to face here, and to the best of fans that have cheered and booed over the years. I promise to make it rain in every match I have left, so keep watching.
Wait, so Tommy, I'm assuming you may know this. What does he mean off the plane in Mexico? Is that where he started?
No, he started in Japan, but they sent him on excursion to Mexico for a good while.
Okay.
This is when he was in TNA when they didn't treat him right.
Right.
Because he's not
like AAA.
Yeah, like AAA CML. Where was he exactly? Because they wanted him to get that exposure, but he also wanted, he was just being a wrestling journeyman like a lot of them.
Yeah.
And
I just found that interesting because I read that earlier too, and I was like, "Oh, in Mexico, interesting."
I think it's just because it has such a huge influence on him, like because like a lot of and a lot of people, I think a lot of people don't know this. A lot of Japanese wrestlers love wrestling in Mexico.
Yeah,
they legitimately love it. Like that's one reason why Naito brought back the LIJ. Faction from Mexico, just because it wasn't just the fact that he was in that group there, but it's just like he actually loved being down there. Aside from the fact that one racist guy who gave him the reason he has his trademark.
Well, you just made me think of, because we've joked about this a few times. Apparently, in parts of Japan, there are groups that love to dress like cholas and cholos.
Yes,
and there's like a big influence of Mexican culture. Like I think that's cool as hell. But that's kind of funny.
Yeah. So I double checked it right now. He actually he actually started an Ultimo Dragon school, Okada.
Oh.
And then
okay, now I see why he's so good.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, it's like he learned from everyone who was worth learning from. Like seriously, for real. So yeah,
That's awesome. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
I will throw this out there. Obviously, he's working with TNA. If he's still with TNA, is there a chance TNA is involved with Forbidden Door along with AEW and New Japan?
at this point, if they're not, that's insane. They kind of have to be now.
Yeah,
and you know what's interesting, because that first time they did it a couple years ago, people really felt like AEW kind of shafted TNA on some things a little bit.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if they're willing to work again and maybe even the dynamics of things a little bit. So see how it goes.
All right.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Those are kind of the major news points today, unless I missed anything.
That was it.
Yeah, I think for the most part, those were the big things.
All right. Well, speaking of TNA, let's talk briefly about Hard to Kill. Not an event I got to see, just highlights here and there.
Yeah, same.
But some interesting results coming out of this. We got new champions as far as the knockouts and the world champion. Something I'm proud to say I got right. We got Jordan Grace defeating Trinity TNA, which shocked me.
It did shock me too.
Yeah, so I don't know if some of us were talking about, well, Trinity might go back to WWE at this point. And then Moose defeating Alex Shelley.
I'll say this until it happened after the match, and then so yeah.
Yeah. And then the return they teased Nick Nemeth, formerly Dolph Ziggler. That was kind of the big one. And then there was Dana Brooke. I didn't catch what her new name is.
Elegance by is it Ash by it's Elegance by Ash, no? Or is it Ash by Elegance?
I want to say it was Ash by Elegance. Hold on.
Maybe she's a perfume. Got it.
Well, that's what it sounded like. And then it's funny because she dressed very almost movie star stylish. And right off the bat, people were like, "Oh, Tony you're Storm. Just trying to be Tony Storm." And she was like, it was just it was like a look, like I'm not going to be acting like that.
Yeah.
I think she's trying to portray like a kind of rich, fancy lady. I think is kind of what it's coming for. But she has so much talent and athletic ability. For whatever reason, she kind of hit and miss a lot when she was in WWE, and then she was just kind of always in the background. So hopefully this will be good for her. We know that the knockouts is top notch. Like their talent and the division is top notch. So, hopefully having some consistent time in there will be good for her. And then, Jesus, Nick Nemeth, like all the matches that we can just go, want to see that, want to see that, want to see that, want to see that.
I want to see him face each of the machine guns. I want to see him facing Shelley. I want to see him facing Sabin.
I want to see him in an Ultimate X match.
Yes.
I do too.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you know what? I just thought of something. Another reason why TNA might get included in the Forbidden Door is because Vikingo was there too.
Yes,
at the show. So and because that's a match I said I need to see that. I need to see Nick Nemeth and Vikingo go at it 1-on-1.
Yes,
because
with his talent, literally just show me the list of your roster, and it's just like yes. Like PCO, come on. Tell me him and bumping for PCO wouldn't be fun.
Oh, jeez. I'm still shocked he won his match because it wasn't a hardcore. It was just a random match. And then, granted, he won by DQ, and then it would turn into a 6-man tag, and his team won that one anyway. Yeah. So it was like, yeah. On the women's side of things, though, Giselle Shaw won the Women's Ultimate X to kick off the show. And
did none of us pick her?
No.
None of us did.
I told you, like we said that, yeah.
I'm so happy that happened. I'm so happy we all picked someone and none of them won.
None of us got it right.
I love TNA.
Only because we didn't have a dice available to roll it. No, I'm just kidding. But Giselle is going to be facing Jordan Grace. She's the number one contender now for the Knockouts World Championship. So
yeah.
In a match, I'm glad
you did. You know what? He's right. Jason did. Commented.
Oh yeah, Jason.
Yeah,
Jason sure did.
Good call, Jason.
You're right.
Call, Jay.
You're right. He sure did.
Yep.
But you know what match I'm glad was late add-on that I didn't have to pick?
The women's
the Knockouts tag title. Yeah. Because I won regardless, but
so in the alternate universe, when she gets extra money from does she owe you alimony for winning those extra titles? Do you get any extra compensation out of that in the alternate universe?
I feel like in the alternate reality, we don't really do that. We just we're just there for each other. She knows if I ever fall on a hard time, she's got my back.
Okay, that's good. I like that.
I feel like that. I really do feel like in the alternate reality, the between me and Jessica, the divorce was pretty amicable. It's like, hey,
Okay.
we had some great times. It just didn't work out, and we just work it out that way.
Yeah.
Fair.
And then she signed the big contract after the divorce is finalized, so you don't get any of that money too as well.
Yeah, I kind of see that happening too. It's like her texting me, "Hey, isn't that funny timing?" Yeah, it's hilarious.
Follow we want prenup.
Congratulations.
Title changes on there. Decay defeated MK Ultra to win the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. Crazy Steve defeated Tommy Dreamer to win the Digital Media Championship as well. So
He earned it.
everything else stand pat too as well. So
Yep.
as far as our pick results, Tommy went 4-4, and Mike and myself went 5-3. So
Not bad. Excuse me.
4-4. Yep. All right. Don't want to share rating for that event. We didn't get to see the event, but something I definitely do want to check out as well. Might wait till it pops up in the TNA Plus description to go back and watch it as well. But seeing the TNA logo back. My final question though is Trinity done with TNA, or is she going to be sticking around? What do you think? Or is she going to be going to WWE? I should say. So.
I was gonna say, until I know for sure, I'm not gonna say either way, because I don't like the idea that every time someone loses a title, they're automatically leaving a company. I don't like that, because first of all, even if that's true or not, that's none of our business. Well, that's none of our business. Like I don't like the fans immediately equating a title loss to them being done with a company. It's just sometimes it's just you lose a title, But
I think it's also just because even before the match, that speculation was starting to heat up.
Yeah,
because
and
even before the match, people were already claiming that it was going to be Trinity and Sasha back to side with Bayley once Damage Control, dumps her or whatever, turns on her. So I mean, that rumor's just been hidden for a while now. But you're right though, because I think she worked the Snake Eyes tapings the next day too.
Yeah,
so even if her contract was up, I'm not even sure exactly how soon it's up. So it apparently wasn't that night. Like it wasn't. She was there and done. So
yeah. So and these days I like to wait and hear and see, like with Okada, because there was speculation his contract was up, but no one knew for sure. But now we know. So yeah.
I'm sure they were trying to renegotiate or extend it, but it just didn't work out. So yeah.
Oh, Jason just said she's having a rematch.
Right, next week. So
she gets the rematch. Okay. Yeah.
And maybe she is leaving, but who knows?
And it could be like a Jade Cargill rematch with when she did it just to. Well, I guess she did it to like officially lose to Statlander in a regular match, but it could be to have one last big match, or she could be going. So hopefully we'll see.
We'll see how it plays out. The next event for TNA, let me pull it up here. I want to say it's No Surrender.
I think so.
Let me make sure here. Yeah, No Surrender, a TNA Plus event. So if you have a TNA Plus subscription, you'll be able to watch that one. That is February 23rd, by the way. So
cool.
Nice.
All right. Well, let's talk a bit about a couple of shows that are happening in the San Antonio area this weekend. Starting with tomorrow night, the Hybrid Experience. Official name: New Year, New Hybrid Experiences. Pretty appropriate there. Yeah. From what I've gathered online, there's 7 matches on the card. I had them listed on the agenda. I don't know if there's any others that were added. So
no, as far as I know, it's stuck to that so far. So.
Yeah. Alexander Crawley versus Rilo King. Jay Young versus Amino. Vintage Danny Vintage versus Eric Walker. The Flock and Brawlers versus the Kingdom.
Okay. That's going to be fun because last show the Brawlers went against was it David Kidd, the Karate Kids? It was David Kidd and
Jesse
James. And we talked about, like, y'all weren't there, but like they beat each other up unnecessarily for 2 teams that had no real beef. So the Brawlers and the Kingdom probably have a little beef because it's King Rob and he has beef with everybody, I'm assuming. So this should be a hell of a match.
Let's see here. Izzy Moreno and David Kidd versus Calientita and Chris Marvel.
There was some fun stuff there because I think the first time the match was announced, Izzy was talking about Marvel and she spelled his name like Marvel the Comics.
That's funny.
And so this last time we did a little thing, it was like, oh, at least you spelled my name right.
Yeah.
But Callie, we expect you to lose again because that's kind of what you do when you're facing
Yeah.
busy. So.
GM Michelle versus Key Vibes. Is this for the title? It
Yes.
wasn't specifically said.
Yes.
It is for the
And
title.
if you go to, I'm pretty sure it's on both of their social medias. There's a little interview clip where Dr. The Wife from Face for Wrestling is interviewing Key Vibes. And Key Vibes at the time said she issued the challenge and she hadn't heard officially from Gia. Well, Gia shows up, and then eventually they start getting into it, and they have to be broken up. So we've talked to both of these two before, and we've kind of talked with both of them how they were like those first couple of females that went through hybrid and in what it is now.
Yeah.
So they know each other very well, and there appears to be no love loss. So I expect them to beat the crap out of each other, and that should be a hell of a match.
Indeed.
And then finally, Living in Fashion versus the Texas Treats.
Continuing on the Don Juan is having way too much fun tour.
Dude, I need
Yes.
him to calm down because
No,
his
he
level of
will not.
excitement, everything he's doing, bruh. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this should be a fun one as well. Kind of hoping the Treats don't win the belt so quickly. They've been winning a lot lately, so I don't know.
I mean, I don't want them to win because I just don't like them, but that's just personal.
Fair. That's fair.
Oh Lord.
That's for my own reasons. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but these hybrid shows are always fun. It's a nice little place there in the gym. I don't know if you saw Marvel also tweet out earlier that he's once he makes sure and locks down like getting the renewal on the space there so they can stay there a little bit longer. He's looking to get a 5th ring for
How the hell's he
that.
gonna fit in there, man? That's crazy.
Well, I mean, when they're just working out and it's just like training, they don't have that stuff there. So I mean, I think they'll fit it in like normally where that entrance area is, but that's crazy.
I know he normally has like 4 rings
Yeah.
normally.
yeah,
does now, yeah.
So basically, the ring that we see when we're there, I think it's either against the far wall, where like right in front of the door,
by the stairs, right?
right by the stairs, and then that 4th ring is right recent. So, but to put a 5th ring, it would have to go like
right in the front.
Right in front, like where the big garage door. I don't know.
But he kind of mentioned it was like so, like if anyone wants some one-on-one time with him, if guests, they always have guests coming by to just like train, like Mercedes did. Like all the people that are up on their walls.
That he knew better than to tell us about.
Yeah. Look, not Marvel. I told Casey Blackrose this, and he knows. If Bailey is ever there, I don't care if Marvel said on your life, Blackrose, our friendship is over if I don't at least get an acknowledgement text, man. I'm just telling you.
What if she's under the mask and he has no idea who it is?
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
well,
so I mean,
all right. I want to be polite. I feel like there would be ways you could tell, but I'm gonna be nice.
Yeah.
Respectfully speaking, there are ways.
Yes, of course, respectfully.
Well, the hybrid experience is tomorrow, Friday, January 19th, 7 p.m. Central Time. Doors at 6. Takes place at the Hybrid School of Wrestling, 7114 Eckert Road. Admission is, how much is it? $6?
It's usually $10. General
$10,
admission $15 if you want to sit front row. But
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
So, check it out. Looking forward to it. I think it's really cool that they put these little shows together to allow the students to work and everything like that and get some exposure, which is pretty cool. So
they get used to me.
Yeah, and then they always bring in some people from Corpus and Laredo. So
yeah. I think that one of the reasons Chase Owens probably isn't in this one beating up another hybrid youngster is I think he's back in Japan already, if I'm not mistaken.
Doing some of the I think so too. They said.
Oh, because I don't know if because like him and Kenta, they're getting 2 separate matches with Grills of Destiny. I think it's for each belt.
Oh, okay.
So they're getting a strong championship match and then the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match.
Nice. Also, one other thing, real quick, before you forget, this is Hollywood TD's last ring announcing appearance.
Yeah.
This is it. Tomorrow night at Hybrid. We were there for his last BOW show a couple weeks ago. And then this is it. This is the last one before he goes to work more time in his job. So
I'm a little sad.
Yeah.
But hopefully we get one more deadly entrance. So
yeah. Oh, he'll come back
All
for
right.
the Halloween show and do that. So.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm sure. All right, on to RCW. Their first show of 2024 is the Rumble Royale, and this one,
Son of a, this is a stacked
This
show.
weekend
yes,
is going to be so much
This
fun.
week, dude, I'm pretty much leaving the convention and going straight over there. So.
yeah.
And also, if you want to know the names for both of the Rumbles in a minute, I do have the list here. Of
I was
who's in
about
so
to.
far.
I was trying to pull up,
Yeah.
but you got it great. So, let's get started though. 5 matches on the card, but I'm pretty sure the last 2 are going to take a bit. Fuego.
Well, you
Fuego
kind of
del
figure
Sol.
they'll do what WWE does, right? Like maybe the women's at the beginning, men's at the end, or maybe reversed
kinda-
actually because the women's got the
Yeah,
title on
'cause-
the line.
yeah.
Yes, yeah. The something that we had speculated ever since the rumors were coming out that Matt Rikowski had been signed. We were seeing the signs there ourselves.
Worst kept secret in Texas.
Yeah, well, and when this match was announced, usually it's for the number 1 contender, but we're thinking, okay, she's already relinquished the titles in Mission Pro. More than likely, it's going to have to do the same in RCW, and this is probably going to be for the title. Before that, though, we're going to get Fuego del Sol versus Bulletproof Alex Arsenal.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Guy's gonna be a banger.
Yeah.
The Professor Jesse James versus JP Hard Harlow.
Another banger.
JP's on his own. Jesse likes. Well, I don't know if he'll be allowed to use kendo sticks, but I expect them to beat the crap out of each other. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
he'll find a
sure.
way. So, the RCW Tag Team Championship, the Pillars of Destiny defending against the River City Kingdom.
Oh, good. I can go back to hating Rob Love openly. Thank God.
Yes.
Felt so wrong.
But Stud Stash versus either of the Pillars.
Yep.
That's big sweaty men slapping
yeah.
meat. So
Yeah. So let me go ahead and say this again. I've said it multiple times. The Pillars are probably one of the best tag teams who you didn't expect to be as fun as they are,
yeah.
and are just the epitome of like just a great time watching them in the ring. Like, and I hope they get more recognition, because I'll put it this way: I have never been disappointed in a Pillars of Destiny match, not once, because they always make it fun with just who they are.
And then Brandon gets those pyro machines for the entrances, and they Goldberg with their face, man.
Yeah, they do.
They go and stand like the sparklers are coming up or whatever. They go stand in front of them and like face it. I was like, God, you look crazy.
You know what's funny? I actually
Okay.
have pictures of Paul Titan before all this.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because there's one picture, and I'm not kidding. It's of him in the Inspire Pro crowd. He's just in the crowd watching the show.
Okay.
And I looked, and I swear, and as long as I've known him, I've known him since that point.
Yeah.
He's so Paul Titan now. I completely forgot that was him.
You
I looked at that guy, I was like,
human
look, I forgot. I was like, hey, that guy looks really familiar. And I was like, holy crap, that's Paul Titan. I know who he is. I forgot because he's so Paul Titan.
Yeah. Those guys are great at what they
They're
do.
so great. I
sure.
really hope they have a breakout soon, because
Yeah.
I feel like they've earned it, like for sure.
Well, they got what? Was it ROH or AEW matches not too long ago?
I think they had AEW recently.
Like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like on Rampage. Yeah, they were on
Yeah.
Rampage not too long ago.
Nice.
All right, now the 30-man Royal Rumble 30-man Rumble Royale for
Yeah.
the basically an RCW Championship title shot.
Yeah.
Mike, who is in this one? This
All
is the
right.
men's one.
So I'm pretty sure we have about 27 names, so we can
Okay.
expect hopefully a few surprises, as you know, Rumbles tend to do. So we've got Angel Camacho, the Juggernaut, big dude. We got from End of the World Party, Ricky Ramirez and Corvus in there as well. We got Cocky Chris Marvel. We got one half of Overkill, Jay Alexander. We got the 7-foot face of fear, Bo Amir. We got the Megalodon, Don Juan, because apparently now him and Diego Rene are sharks. So he's the Megalodon Juan.
God.
And we got Diego Rene.
Excuse me.
Sweet stuff.
The Cowboy Anthony Andrews is in there. We got David Kidd. We got Devin Carter, Casey Blackrose, Brandon Weiss, all a bunch of hybrid guys.
Yeah.
We got Lou Gotti, one of Tommy's favorites. We got the other half of Overkill. I'm not quite sure why their names are so separated, but we got Edge Stone, Zakai Living, Teflon John, who I actually saw at that United show back in October, November. Very interesting. They got Haas Holding, which was just at BOW in a match with Eddie Andrews, and that should be fun because that guy,
no, he faced James Claxton.
or James Claxton. You're right. I'm sorry, the other one. But he's also in his 60s, so take with that what you will. Troy Markham, who is a lot through Hybrid. Don Fernando, who had a little vignette also, if you go check RCW.
He's so stupid.
He's apparently trying to piss everyone off, which is fun because it's fun to watch him get beat up. So
it really is. Oh my God, it's so much fun.
And then Eric Walker and some of his super friends, Red Lightning, Scarlet Thunder, Hybrid Graduate, who's going to also be there Friday, Danny Vintage, Yoshi, who's a Hybrid guy, and Johnny Rocket and Rilo King. So a lot of Hybrid representation in there, some DFW representation in there.
And then some scary representation there because Edgestone and Jay Alexander.
Formerly of the Kingdom, I guess they kind of gave up on using them. So,
Anybody want to take a chance and guess who they think is?
Oh hell no!
Look,
I'm just asking.
I'm just going to go to personal bias, and I would love to see Casey win this. I mean, I love the brawlers, but I wouldn't mind seeing him get a little singles run.
Oh,
what's up?
okay. Wait, hold on. I may have to retract that. Hell no. Okay, so and I'll explain why I'm going to say this.
Okay.
This person did an interview recently about this, and this will give it away who I'm talking about. As long as I've known him, and he was in the co-main event of the first show I never went to, until they said it, I didn't realize Chris Marvel has never actually held the RCW championship. It never occurred to me until this. And what's interesting is Don Juan has held it, except he was Christian Valens.
Christian Valens, that's right.
So I retract my hell no, and I honestly feel Marvel might win this.
That's fair.
And I'm never going to hear the end of it if he wins this, especially if he wins the title afterwards. Because, okay, well, Marvel isn't going to say a damn word, but the amount of talking Don Juan's going to do if he wins this, I'll never hear the end.
But, that might lead to that eventual match again for the title with the treats going against each other. So,
I mean, that's what
that would be interesting
because because they're both jerks to me, so I wouldn't mind them fighting each other. So,
I'm picking Marvel on this one. I just they don't really come out and say Chris Marvel's never won this title unless they're planning to do something about that. It always seems that way. Does he need it? Maybe. It's. I think what he's enjoyed so much is teaching the next generation about what he knows.
Obviously.
But for him to be able to hold a championship like this, that he's been a part of that company for so long, held numerous tag titles there with Don Juan, it'd be pretty cool to see.
It was funny because I don't know if you've caught Izzy's promo for the Hybrid show, but she talks about, she's like, and I think I want to take Marvel's arm. I mean, he is my coach, so I don't want him to be mean to me at practice, but I think I'm gonna try and take his arm. Even then, they're like, yeah, he's the coach. It's always what he does.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, that's a good point. Like even in promos, he's still the coach, but I want to beat him up. But he's still
Now, what I think is going to be the main event, personally, the 20-woman Royal Rumble Royale, crowning a new RCW Women's Champion.
Yeah, and it is stacked.
Yes. And again, this Rumble, again, was the second worst kept secret in Texas as to what was going to be what the victor got. It's like, he's the new RCW Women's Champion. Well, duh, Brandon, of course it is.
Well, Mike, who is in this match?
So, we start off with Emmy Camacho, who in her own right has Ultimo Dragon titles around Texas. She has quite a few. Who are we talking to? Okay, I'll keep going. But who said they wanted to have like more? Because maybe it was Maddie talking about the amount of titles they have because they have the picture with all the belts.
Oh, that was Maddie.
Like,
that's one
I think Emmy has like 4 or something.
Because she has 4 now too. That's right.
Yeah. And our kid Ash, of course, event of the World Party.
I'm going to share this because I think I found the list.
There you go. Okay, cool.
There it is.
Cool. There you go. One of our favorites, Calientita. The Cholas have names, which is wait.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Big Red. I really expected one of them to name Barbacoa. I'm just
No.
throwing that out
So
there right
here's
now.
the
So
thing.
what?
On the one
Tommy.
I have, her name is Ridley.
Huh.
And for what it's worth, I don't know where the multiverse comes here. When her and Hysteria tagged at United, she was Ridley Thorne, I believe. Big Red is like her nickname, so that may be her Chola's nickname.
I
New
mean,
year, new
Which
me,
I
right?
like,
I mean,
which honestly I kind of like. So.
we've all met cholas. Of course, they have 3 names. What are you talking about?
hey, new year, new me. That's probably what she said at the turn. You know? So just
That's
throwing it
fair.
out there. Yeah.
So yeah, the 3 Cholas. It's Big Red. Hysteria has usually like the kind of blue hair, and Lisa's the one with usually the bandana and the sunglasses on.
All 3 of them rejected me in high school. No, I'm kidding.
Not them specifically, but
Not
that's
them
what they
specifically. Yeah,
represent.
let me make that clear. Not them specifically. No, but
And
damn,
then
just like all
the next 2 names bring us very opposite feelings. You see Jasmine Allure. And then we see Alejandra Quintanilla, who I'm just going to say right now is my heart pick for this one. Maybe not my head pick, but my heart pick.
shooketh. I am shooketh, Mike, that's your heart pick. I just cannot believe it.
Oh, okay. I was like, why would you? Oh, you're being sarcastic. I got you.
As hell. I am.
Danny B, who we've seen several times at Mission Pro. Haven't seen her as much in RCW or Hybrid, but
she's been in RCW about twice. I
think I've seen her once when the ones I went to.
Yeah.
But another one who's got a lot of gold around Texas and been in a lot of matches.
Yeah, for sure.
Gia Michelle, of course. Killer Kate.
I love Killer Kate.
Who has had some big matches. Shiva's returning, which is awesome.
Yes,
and that's really cool for her because she's dealt with a lot of injury and health issues.
Yes.
Over the last year, so good for her. Victoria Mosh, you see Katie Forbes, of course, who has been in RCW and Rebel a lot, so that's cool to see them back.
I'm so happy.
Miranda Gordy, who we interviewed, who had it not been for Calientita, could have potentially beaten Maddie, but we don't know.
That's why Calientita's.
And so it looks like there may be a change because how recent is this post, JC?
This was earlier today.
Okay, so then there were some changes from. So originally I had Maya World on the list, who we just interviewed recently. But this is London Dior, who, at least up in the DFW, was her tag team partner for a bit. But London just turned on Maya and took her belt. So she may be replacing her. So that's interesting. Looking at your list. So yeah, the Big Red may be her Chola's name over there too, if this is today. So, and if you count, that's not 20 people.
No.
Nope.
So also some potential surprises. I have a feeling a former RCW champion, women's champion, may be making an appearance as well, but we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Especially with the Cholas involved. Let's just say that. Someone owes them.
Well, my pick to win this one is Jasmine Allure.
I know it is.
Just from the moment she was announced, I had a feeling like they were going to set up Allure versus Rankowski too, but then Rankowski relinquished the title, so it just sets up. I'm pretty sure Allure and Leon's going to be the last two. And it's going to piss me off so much if you're right and she eliminates Alejandra at the end. Not even. Well, you said Alejandra was your heart pick. Who's your head pick on this one?
You're gonna make me say it?
I'm gonna have to.
I think you're right.
Okay. So, what about you, Tommy?
I'm going Alejandra. Until I know which Jasmine Allure we're getting.
Let's be honest, Tommy. Your pick is anyone but.
No. Hold on. My pick is anyone but Calientita, Big Red, Hysteria, and Lisa. So,
all right. Look, here.
Unfortunately, they put this list in with Jasmine in there, and if I had to pick someone if I had to hate someone more than Jasmine, it's going to be the Cholas because they screw Key Vibes. So yeah.
Okay.
They screw Key Vibes. So hey.
Okay, that's fair. That's
why.
I was going to say, if you want a shocking statement, I'd rather see Callie win than Jasmine Allure. How about that?
Why the hell would you want that?
because of the chaotic fun it would bring.
Man, you.
Can you
wow.
imagine the end of? Okay, no, screw Marvel winning me, never anything of it. Can you imagine how much hell I'd have to live with if Callie won this match?
Yeah.
I'd have to sit through every show that, of course, I'm still going to. I'm not. It's like I'd never go to a show again. No, I'm not that stupid. But no, I go to every show. I'd have to live with the fact that she and I'd have to be like this. It's like that jackass was the one who won that damn Rumble.
Yeah.
Crap.
Plus, look, she's kind of short. It's going to be hard to get her up and toss her over the top rope to begin
No, I was
with.
gonna say no. That makes it easier. Just pick her up and set her over the top like that, like an action figure. We mentioned the wrestling buddies earlier, didn't we? That's a
good point.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my god! I hope she watches this.
We'll find out if she's yelling at you on Saturday.
She better.
RCW Rumble Royale Saturday, January 20th. Taking at 7 p.m. Central Time. Doors opening at 6. Takes place at the Good Shepherd Lutheran Activity Center, 1630 Goliad Road. Tickets are sold out completely, including standing room tickets. So if you don't have a ticket, sorry, maybe get a scalper.
Jason, I was wondering about that a little bit too. Yeah, the opportunity is there if things got worked out.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, if she's still in town, for sure. So if you don't have a ticket, the only way you can watch this is on Title Match Network, and then, quite frankly, that's probably how I'm going to be watching this event because I'm really looking forward to it. And I think all the kids are going to love to see it too, especially if Izzy is potentially a surprise. That's a name that's been thrown out there too, especially.
The level of hype for this show, especially for a San Antonio show, has been second to none. It has been one of the biggest hype show, and by the way, I mean that totally in the way of rightfully so. But I'm just saying, like, the level of hype to it has just been effing insane. And props to Brandon Oliver and the RCW crew for putting this thing together. It's gonna be a good show.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be a fun weekend, man. Holy crap! It's gonna be
it really is.
All right.
That's a good thing I have Monday off. I'm gonna be exhausted by this. Holy shit.
Well, with that, let's move into our 1 minute warning segment here.
Jason, hell yeah, they did.
What you got there?
Things
don't they ever? So yeah.
And
they've already announced their next events, by the way, February 25th and April 20th as well.
And there's a March show, I think.
I don't recall.
Yes, but the March show is at Hybrid, which is interesting. It is it's an RCW show. Yeah. It's like it's St. Patrick's Day at Hybrid or something like that, which is interesting. And then there's already tickets, like you said, for the April RCW Mania show, which is like their WrestleMania. So that's another one you may want to grab tickets for as soon as possible, even a couple months out. So I did, by the way.
So, all right, Mike, do you have something this week?
I do.
All right, whenever you're ready, set and go.
So I know JC and Tommy may have seen this on the Facebook, but recently Tommy and some other people had put up, make me choose between two wrestlers. And that was a fun little thing. And some of them were jokes, some of them were serious. One of them I got was a serious one, and it was Bryan Danielson or Claudio. And I had to say, I think Bryan Danielson is a GOAT, but I'm choosing Claudio. And you guys know that I come in here and my two top people right now are Bailey and Claudio for very similar reasons. They are way too good at what they do. They are way too good at putting people over, and they don't always get the credit they deserve because of that. Right? And tonight, by the way, on ROH TV, I think it's either on ROH TV or on Rampage, it's Claudio and Brian Keith. So again, just add another banger to the list of things. I will say this one time, and I know it's not likely in AEW, but I would love Claudio to have an actual championship run. I know his ROH one was really nice, and he had the amazing match with Eddie Kingston and that little stuff that went on. But that man is a wrestling machine. He never puts on a disappointing match. And for what it's worth in AEW, he's kind of a bigger guy because, AEW is not all giants like WWE, so he does kind of stand out. I would love to see one last run. I doubt it happens, but I'll choose Claudio every time. So.
I won't know about it doesn't happen. I mean, Samoa Joe won it.
That's fair.
Yeah, so
I'm not gonna lie. When you first had MJF take the title, that's not the guy I thought was going to take it off him. But things change. So
and Joe's already been proving how much of a right choice that was. That banger he had with Hook, and of course, Joe promos do not disappoint me ever.
Yeah, and him basically just saying like, we're done with the petty crap. Like, let's just wrestle.
Let me just throw this out there because we assume that they're going to save Bryan Danielson versus Okada for Wembley. Give me Claudio versus Okada at Forbidden Door. Just going to throw it out there right now. So
give me them anytime. I don't care if it's in hybrid. Give me that match.
Okay, Mike. If Okada shows up at hybrid, you need to. I'm a man. Look. I'm camping out in front of the.
I really just said that just because of the size of a venue, but yeah,
they're gonna have to buy the little dance studio next door and expand into that for that. That's what they're gonna have to do. So
no, they're gonna have to buy. They're gonna have to find some more seats because I'm buying the entire front row for my damn self. I was like, shut up, everybody! Okada.
You're gonna have to put it at that like UPS like collection or whatever.
Yeah.
They're gonna have the room. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And a UPS truck match. First one thrown in the truck, right?
Oh, so. Jesus.
Tommy, you got something this week?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. It sounds like an ambulance match, but do I? Nah, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think my mind's all focused for this weekend. So.
Yeah. For me, I've really enjoyed seeing all the promos and the hype that Izzy Moreno's been getting. A local news station in Orlando, where she is currently living right now, did a piece about her. About the training that she's done, from showing clips of her 8-9 years old, hot tag, jiu-jitsu, all the training that she's done. Talked to her parents, who, by the way, Cody, props for wearing the Spurs hat in
Hell
that,
yeah,
by
man.
the way. Yes, so going to be Spurs, San Antonio residents pretty soon.
Yeah.
But all the videos that have been shared, this one, this picture included this as a still. So definitely going to get this printed, and Adi wants to take this to the next show. Hopefully I can get this tomorrow to get Izzy to autograph it. So hopefully Walgreens has a good enough turnaround that we can get this done. So
they
usually do, yeah.
Yeah, Mike, you suggested this in our group chat, and yeah, very true. Izzy's going to be a star. I think the time is coming.
If they use this old footage, I said your kids are going to be at WrestleMania video packages.
Oh, I believe it. Just whenever she gets there. I mean, it's not an if, but it's a when.
Yeah.
She's been primed to be a major star, especially WWE. Talk about long-term booking, right? So, but yeah, just the fact that Adi and Jay have been getting hugged in just about every promo in this picture alone. I really hope to see this down the road somewhere, and then my daughter, when she's in high school or college, could say, "Yeah, that's me." So pretty cool stuff. And still, my daughter's turning 10 this year. I fully expect to use the what's the name?
What are you talking about?
The 10, Sean Spears.
Sean Spears.
Well, whatever his oh my god, I can't remember his WWE name.
Oh, the Perfect 10, Sean.
Ty Dillinger. Yeah,
I blanked too.
Yeah, all of us were like, "Oh shit!"
It's been a while, but yeah, I really would just love for my daughter to have like a speaker attached to her, walk into class when she turns 10, like Ty Dillinger.
So what was Sean Spears' name? I was like, luckiest man alive. I mean,
I'm sitting here going, "What do you mean that Sean? Oh, he wasn't always Sean Spears."
Yeah, it's
also,
right?
By the way, Burnsy, I don't think. Oh, you were. I was gonna say Burnsy.
Burnsy here. My son holding up
my
son, by the way, holding up a sign that he handmade himself. He's so proud of that. Yeah,
right
well,
there's
Tina taking a picture. Yeah,
and down in the corner is my wife.
Yeah, so yeah, very cool. Thank you, Izzy, for including that picture. It's amazing. So awesome. Yeah, 2024 is gonna be a great year. But we're gonna talk all about Mission Pro when we get to that for sure. So Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a fun show.
That was a show.
Once again on tap this weekend, hybrid experience tomorrow, Friday, January 19th, 7 p.m. Central Time at the Hybrid School of Wrestling, 7114 Eckert Road. Yes, you can buy tickets at the door, by the way.
Yep.
And then, of course, on Saturday, you have RCW's Rumble Royale, Saturday,
You cannot
January
buy
20th,
tickets
7
at
p.m.
the
Central Time. Nope, tickets completely sold out. So if you don't have tickets, check it out on Title Match Network. This is going to be taking place at the Good Shepherd Lutheran Activity Center, 1630 Goliad Road. By the way, if you're going to Hybrid, bundle up. At least take a jacket. It's going to be a little chilly, but better than the heat, right?
Yeah, that's better than what it was in the summer. So I'm
yes,
cool with it.
Yeah.
for sure. Next week we'll take a look back and see how our experiences at Hybrid, watching RCW as well. Are you guys going to RCW? Did you guys get tickets?
Yeah,
I got mine,
I didn't.
yeah.
So yeah, we're watching a Title Match.
I got like one of the last few that were available.
Yeah.
No, I got it kind of early, so there was still a decent amount. But
Yeah, I got one kind of near the entryway, but like
Mhm.
3 rows back, like row 3. I believe.
Okay.
I hope if it's the same as last time, that I'm sitting behind Amanda and Milo, because I'm sitting in
Okay.
that corner over there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think where you sat last time, pretty much.
Okay.
The last time it was there.
Next week we're gonna preview the Royal Rumble.
Already?
Yep.
Yes, the following weekend.
Oh my
Following
god!
weekend.
The move and everything has
Yeah, I can
has
imagine.
messed me up so bad that oh my god, I didn't even realize where we were. That and this weekend with the Retromania, that's all I've been focusing on.
While
I
this going
completely
on,
forgot.
trust
Yeah.
me. With
Oh my god,
with
I completely forgot.
our first floor getting renovated, like the days have gone into blur. Believe me. So
Yeah.
trust me. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
me with no life. I knew what was going on.
yeah. We're gonna talk Rumble and talk a bit about how great of a job WWE has done with here in promoting this, making sure that people know this is important. It's been pretty amazingly well done. I'm very, very proud of this one. So
And next week we will also see whether me and Tommy have happy faces or sad we give up faces, and it all depends on that women's Rumble. So
It's amazing how much of RCW depends on whether I'm happy or sad the next day.
in all fairness, I'm usually always happy after wrestling shows, regardless, because the alternative is, teaching high school freshmen. So wrestling makes me happy.
Look,
okay.
I will put it this way: if Jasmine Allure wins, it is not the worst thing in the world to have her as a women's champion. You forget that at one time Joey Spector was RCW champion. How much that made us mad. So
Okay, right. Okay, well, if you're going absolute rock bottom, okay.
just saying, we lived through that. So
Yeah,
thank you everybody for joining us on the
That's
WrestleCast.
how
Thank
we
you
just know.
again to Scott Kinney with Retromania.
Yes.
It's going to be a great event. Looking forward to it. Tommy, good luck.
Tommy, I'm gonna throw another choose into your post after we're done with this. So.
Oh boy.
Oh, no.
I just thought of something as you said stuff.
Oh no.
Over here we got Tommy.
I'm very afraid. Bye. Thanks, guys.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I'm JC. And as always, heels and baby faces, remember, pro wrestling is real.
People are fake.
God, boy.
Have fun this weekend. We'll see you next week.
Adios, Gunther.